What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this, Wednesday morning? How are we doing, everybody? Welcome in. Come one, come all. I appreciate everybody for being very patient with me yesterday. If you guys didn't know, I didn't do my live podcast yesterday just because obviously I'm going through a little bit of issues with the face area. So I ended up hopefully getting everything, sorted out here on my end, but I do apologize up front that I didn't go live yesterday. I did go ahead and put some videos out there. So if you guys haven't checked those out, definitely check those out now, or not now, but whenever you get a chance. And if you're interested in those videos, but just FYI, ladies and gentlemen, we should be chugging along with the regular scheduled program here at 10:30 a.m. Arizona/Mountain Time, at least for now, going live on the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, talking everything Arizona Cardinals. So appreciate everybody that's currently in the chat. If you guys haven't quite already done this already, definitely smack up the like button, smack it up, subscribe it up. And this is your first time here, subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We are on the road to just, I guess, infinity, right? We're on the road to infinity, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to grow this channel as best as we possibly can. Need your guys' help. So if you're a member or a a fan of the Arizona Cardinals, definitely subscribe and smack the like button on this video. All right, everybody, let's dive right into it here. We got a lot to talk about here today. A fun-filled show for everybody. Let me give some big shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Jay, we got Terry, we got Bryce, King Rock, we got Corey, Jesus, Charles. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys for coming through. Let's dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you guys don't already know, what we're mainly going to be talking about is up here, right? This is going to be the main topic we're going to be talking about for the day, and it's Kyler Murray. Could he miss another week? And obviously, we'll be sprinkling in a little 49ers talk, Arizona Cardinals and 49ers talk a little later on in the stream as well. Best thing you can do if you want to join in the conversation is basically, send a super chat in, a contribution. It helps the channel grow out tremendously if you are interested. If not, definitely you can go ahead and chat it up in the, chat box. It's absolutely for free. So definitely go ahead and talk amongst the other Bird Gang members of this community. And let's jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Kyler Murray possibly missing another week. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm very heavy on Twitter. I like to kind of, look at some news on there to see what we can do to get my Arizona Cardinal fix. And this is the latest thing that I ended up seeing here. Now, take this with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of stuff right now that we're hearing is rumors, right? It's not set in stone, but it's rumors right now. So please don't take this saying, oh my God, Mike said he's going to be out. Why is he playing on Monday, right? We have a long week ahead of us. We have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then our game is on Monday, technically. So we have 5 days to completely determine what's going on. Now, I'm only assuming that when the media does ask if, Kyler Murray is going to be playing, I'm assuming Cliff's going to say it's day-to-day, right? It's game time decisions, something along those lines. And honestly, I don't blame him, right? He's definitely looking out for, try to cover his cards. So keep that up as well. And, take with what you hear with a grain of salt. Rumors are rumors, and we'll have to kind of wait until Monday to see exactly who's going to be playing. But this is the latest information that I ended up seeing here. Now, this is from a Twitter account called NFL Rumors. So definitely take that with a grain of salt as well. It says this, hashtag Cardinals, Kyler Murray's hamstring could miss another week or so. So right there, that automatically tells me, right? Like it's not too big of a situation there, but I think we all kind of knew that we might see this coming, right? I think a lot of people in the situation right now that we're dealing with is, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Arizona Cardinal fans are on a crossroads right now. A lot of Arizona Cardinal fans want the Arizona Cardinals to succeed, right? And what we've seen from Colt McCoy, a lot of people kind of want to go that route right now, right? And I don't blame any of the fans for feeling the way that you feel. I don't think it makes you any less of a Cardinal fan at all if you do want Colt McCoy to be playing, because what we saw was very promising for this Arizona Cardinal team versus the Rams. Now, granted, if Colt McCoy does play this Monday and he does give us the same production against this 49er team, boy, I am going to change my tune pertaining to should Colt McCoy start, right? Now, if you guys didn't watch my latest video pertaining to, Colt McCoy or Kyler Murray, to me, I'm still on the train of let's allow Kyler Murray to play at least one more game to show the fans that he can do what Colt McCoy did to the Rams, right? I'm still on that side of the situation where I still want Kyler Murray to get the opportunity. Now, if he doesn't, I'm not going to cry. If he doesn't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, right? But because we paid him $230 million, I still feel like Kyler Murray deserves an opportunity to make this whole narrative right, right? This whole narrative that we've been hearing is his opportunity to make it right. And I do truly believe that the Arizona Cardinals wants Kyler Murray, but I mean, the fans are talking. The fans are chirping. I ended up putting like two polls, right? One on my Instagram and then the other one on my YouTube account. Who should start? Who do you want to start? And my YouTube account had Colt McCoy favored by like 3 or 4%. And then on the Instagram, we had Kyler Murray favored by about 3 or 4%. So, like, right now, a lot of fans are in a crossroads right now, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, a lot of fans are in a crossroads, and I don't blame anybody for feeling the way that you feel. We just want to win, and we see the NFC West still open, and we want to get a slice of that pie, right? It's been a while since we won the NFC West, and this could be the opportunity for the Arizona Cardinals to strike. Let me go ahead and get to this contribution from my guy, Carter. Appreciate you, Carter. He says, I feel like Kyler will be fine, but then again, the hamstring is hard to heal up. I would rather have him out there when he's healthy. Exactly. 110%. Now, Cliff Kingsbury did say the same thing as well, right? Like, we want Kyler Murray out there if he can do what Kyler Murray does, right? If he needs to run out of the pocket, if he needs to kind of make a magical play, that's when Kyler Murray is 100% effective. 100% agree. I think it's going to determine on how his hamstring is healing up. Right. As of right now, we haven't really got a big update pertaining to Kyler Murray. I know we're going to be getting something maybe either today or tomorrow, if not Friday, like kind of the status of what Kyler Murray is going to, have moving forward. But, obviously with all the noise that's been chirping around, it's definitely something to be said about, hey, maybe Kyler can miss another week, right? If he's not 100%, I don't want Kyler out there if he's not 100%. If he's 96%, I still kind of don't want him out there, right? I want him to be able to do the things that make Kyler Murray special. Now, if he is 100%, then by all means put him out there. Because right now, the narrative amongst fans, and I know, right, players don't listen, right? Coaches don't listen, right? The Arizona Cardinals organization doesn't listen to what fans are saying, right? Quote unquote. But a lot of fans are calling Kyler soft. A lot of fans are calling Kyler Murray not the future of this Arizona Cardinal team. And believe it or not, I have some, acquaintances that know the San Francisco 49ers, and a lot of them kind of came out, or not a lot of them, but a good majority that I have a very good connection with told me that they fear Colt McCoy more than they fear Kyler Murray. That's something to be said there, ladies and gentlemen. And I kid you not, I had a Rams fan before, the Sunday game that we ended up playing against the Rams. They told me the same thing. They fear Colt McCoy over fearing Kyler Murray. So I don't know, right? I mean, right now we're going through a weird shift right now as Arizona Cardinal fans and as an Arizona Cardinal organization right now where, we saw what this offense could look like with Colt McCoy. And we liked it. We absolutely did like it. Now, Colt McCoy, I liked what he did, and he's done that for us before, right? He played 3 games last year, and he won 2 out of those 3 games, right? Good. I honestly think that's really good for a backup quarterback. Now, I think it's a very tall task to ask Colt McCoy to do exactly the same thing against the 49ers team. But if Colt McCoy does, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, let it rain, right? Let the chatter, let the noise get as loud as it honestly already has gotten. Because in my poll question that I ended up asking you guys in the community on my YouTube, which is going to be basically my biggest following that I have is on YouTube. The last time that I ended up looking, I had over 1,600 votes. 1,600 votes, ladies and gentlemen. 1,600. Now I get it, right? That's not a ton, but I mean, it's a fraction of what can be filled in State Farm Stadium, right? It's a fraction. It's an absolute fraction. So I agree, right? A lot of people that are subscribed on this channel isn't the whole story, and I'm right there with you. But over 1,600 people voted on who you think the Arizona Cardinals should play in quarterback. And this is what people said. Read the question. Who should start next week at quarterback if Kyler Murray's healthy? And this is the big thing that I wanted to make sure that I announced out there. Even if he's healthy, and I said, before you rip my head, right? Rip my head in the comments. I asked because over 180 people were on my stream and 50-50 split. So this is the result that I ended up getting here on my Twitter or my poll on YouTube. With over 1,600 votes, we had Colt McCoy. Over 10% of people that participated in this poll question said that they would rather have Colt McCoy if Kyler Murray's healthy. So, I mean, it's opening up a lot of questions, right? It's opening up a lot of if this happened, that happened. If this happened, that happened type of thing. So I think that it's definitely something to be asked, right? Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are big Kyler Murray fans, and I'm one of those as well, right? I got 2 jerseys from Kyler Murray. I want him to succeed, but I don't know. It's hard to ignore. It's absolutely hard to ignore what we've seen with Colt McCoy, right? Doing that to that defense in the Rams side. So we'll see, right? We will absolutely see what happens moving forward. Now, like I said, we're only going based off of rumors right now, right? And this Twitter screenshot that I ended up posting was from a Twitter page named NFL Rumors. So take that with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen, that, hey, maybe Kyler can go, right? Monday night, we have some time. We have some game planning ahead of us, but maybe Kyler can go. But with what the fans are saying, man, will Kyler even want to play at that point? Like, right? It's crazy. It's crazy to see where we are right now as an organization, at least at this very moment. So we'll have to kind of wait to see how it all shakes out. Because honestly, I'm kind of game for it, right? I'm game to figure out how this Arizona Cardinal team is going to handle this. Because if we're told by Cliff Kingsbury that he's not healthy, if we're told by Cliff Kingsbury that Kyler Murray is not 100%, then Colt McCoy is the answer, right? But if he is healthy, and we put Colt McCoy in there, my goodness, can you imagine the turmoil? Can you imagine the dividing of the locker room that we're probably going to see? Wild. Absolutely wild. I can't believe we're here right now. I honestly can't believe it. But I knew this was coming though. I did feel somewhere deep down that this was going to be a real possibility. If Colt McCoy lit up that Rams team, something that the Arizona Cardinals don't do very much in. In the last four years, the Arizona Cardinals now beat the Rams twice. And if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, born and raised here in Phoenix, Arizona, you know darn well how much that game meant. Not because the Rams, but just because it's an LA team. So it gave us a little bit more of an extra oomph. It gave us a little bit more of an extra chest puffed up in the air saying we beat the heck out of this LA team and we're not that bad because Colt McCoy looked really good. If you're just an Arizona Cardinal fan from a different part of the states, you don't know the hatred, right? You don't understand the hatred that we have for LA teams. They constantly haunt us day in and day out with any sport, baseball, basketball, football. So it did feel a little more than just beating Chicago Bears, right? It did give me a little bit more of an oomph than just beating, like a team like the Raiders, right? Because it's an LA team. And it's the second time in 4 years that Cliff Kingsbury has beat Sean McVay. So we'll see. We'll see exactly how it all shakes out, right? Definitely not our decision. It's not our decision to be told. All we can do is speculate. All we can do is talk around amongst each other and say this, right? This and that. It's all we can do. It's all we can absolutely do at this very moment. Now, a quick plug, ladies and gentlemen. There is the second episode of Hard Knocks today on HBO Max today. Now, most likely we will be doing a reaction video maybe later on today as well. So if you definitely want to go ahead and take a look into it, I'll be releasing another video later on today pertaining to Hard Knocks. And then we're going to recap it again on tomorrow's podcast at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time / AZ time. So just FYI, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be happening today. And I sure hope as heck we're going to be getting some more information about Eno Benjamin. And if the Hard Knocks crew was, as good as people say they are, that would be the biggest storyline that I'm looking forward to watching that Hard Knocks episode, is that Eno Benjamin and just the surprising cut that ended up happening for Eno Benjamin. So I'm excited about that. Let's get to a super chat, a contribution that we just got right now. He says, I love what Kyler can do, but he is too small. I mean, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, no, yeah, 1 or 2 years ago, I would say, honestly, like, this wouldn't be one thing that I would focus on too much on, right? But Kyler Murray's been hurt every single year. Now, I think he's missed full games this year and last year. The other 2 years that we ended up having, he did get hurt in game, and I believe he didn't finish the rest of the game in both those years. But he's been hurt, right? He's been hurt. Now, it's football, right? It's a big boy sport. It is. It absolutely is. So 2 years ago, maybe even 1 year ago, I wouldn't really speak too much to this comment, but honestly, I don't know. It's hard for me to ignore at this point, right? Because Kyler Murray has been hurt every single year. He's only missed 2 years in terms of full games, and this was this year as well as last year, but he's been hurt every single year. So we'll see. We'll absolutely see. Because I'm still on board with Kyler being the dude. I'm still on board with it. But the leash is getting shorter. The people are starting to yell. The people are starting to scream. And it's funny to me that we have people, in the organization saying things like, oh, I don't listen to the outside noise, right? Oh, I don't listen to this. But when the media went ahead and asked Cliff Kingsbury, do you think you're fighting for your job? He came out and said, I guess a little bit. Well, I mean, he didn't say that. So I forgot exactly what he said, but he knew what he was talking about, right? Because the noise is getting loud out there. Fire Cliff, fire Kime. And now people are starting to see a shift. Now people are starting to say, maybe it ain't Kime or Cliff. Maybe it is Kyler. So I don't know. It's a crazy world that we're living in, ladies and gentlemen. It's a crazy world that we're living in right now. But I mean, it's football, right? Things change weekly. And that's just kind of how I am as well. Like, there's nothing different that has changed other than, like, Kyler Murray being hurt again and seeing Colt McCoy beat an LA team. Like, Kyler to me is still the guy. He is. I know there's a lot of people that don't agree that Kyler Murray is the guy, but I do believe he deserves another chance to get this right. Kyler Murray is getting paid $230 million in the stint of his contract, $160 million guaranteed. So to sit here and say, oh, we saw what Colt McCoy did, let's drop him, let's trade him. A, we can't trade him. Trade deadline is gone. B, you don't want to paint the bad picture of Kyler Murray, because what if that does affect his trade value? So it's a lot of different things you have to go ahead and approach this. Now, I don't think Kyler Murray's getting traded. At least not this year, right? He can't. I don't think Kyler Murray's getting traded, but obviously the noise is going to keep happening as long as results aren't there. It's a winning league. It's a winning league. It's just however you want to come up with this. It's a what have you done for me now league. It is. Now, I want to get to this portion as well. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I'm playing this from a completely different audio through my software here on my end, but I want to make sure that I kind of put my 2 cents on something that we ended up getting. I believe this podcast came yesterday. It's from a guy named Jason McIntyre. I do believe he actually jumped on, Colin Cowherd's, podcasts every once in a while. And I believe he works for Fox Sports. He works for something along those lines. I believe it is Fox Sports. But he ended up coming out with a podcast, and there's a lot of Cardinal fans that came to the aid of Kyler Murray. And I want to hear what you guys have to say pertaining to this whole situation, right? Because now the narrative is coming out that Kyler Murray is not good, that he has a lot of problems within the locker room, and then this, and then that, and then this, and then that. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know if you can hear it. Just let me know in the chat. I'm going to be playing it right now on here. So let me know if you can hear it.
Can you guess who said this quote? The whole week during practice, the way he led and the professionalism. There early, stayed late. Communication was through the roof. It was awesome to see. Folks, It was Cliff Kingsbury. Leading at practice, professionalism, being there early, staying late, communication. That's as much of an open jab to Kyler Murray as you will see. That's unbelievable. Cliff Kingsbury is sending a message. Everybody knows they've disagreed a lot. They have not got along. I don't think Kyler respects Cliff. I think Kyler knows he got paid and he doesn't care. Remember, he was mouthing in that Thursday night game against the Saints, calm the F down, calm the F down. And DeAndre Hopkins had to step in. And then last week in the loss to Seattle, the Hard Knocks behind the scenes show, there was a clip of DeAndre Hopkins coming off the field asking Kyler, like, what the F was that? And Kyler was getting all defensive. And DeAndre Hopkins was like, calling on, listen, guys, I'm just telling you, the Kyler Murray situation in Arizona bears watching. Now, they're not moving him, obviously. I don't think he's going to up and leave for baseball, but nobody is happy in Arizona. They don't like their quarterback who, as Cliff Kingsbury alluded to, loves to get there late and leave early. And you guys know the stories about Budda Baker not liking Kyler Murray. You've seen the video, DeAndre Hopkins, like the guy's not endearing himself to the locker room.
Okay, and that's the clip right there. So that is from Jason McIntyre. Now, I was reading the comments on that Twitter post, and a lot of people were like, you don't know anything, right? There's no proof about this, right? And there's a lot of the different things that were being said within that specific podcast. That basically, like, Budda Baker wasn't a fan of him, saying things like Cliff said that he comes in late, you know, in any chance he gets, he tries to leave, that type of stuff. Now, me personally, this is the perfect example of what happens when an organization tries to paint the narrative completely different, right? Or maybe not the organization, but the outside national media. Now, to me specifically, and like I said, I have no inside sources. I'm only seeing with what I see with my eyes, right? My thing is I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan, just like you guys. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing different about me. I'm exactly like you guys do. The biggest difference about me is that I'm a little bit more dramatic than a lot of you guys are. That's the biggest difference about me. But I'm only guessing with what I'm seeing with my eyes, right? And to me, I've said this before. I don't believe Cliff and Kyler like each other. And I mean like each other. Like that, right? I don't think that they truly believe that the same vision is something that they agree with. I don't think they like each other. I think they're cordial with each other. I think they're civil with each other. And honestly, if you are, employed and you have coworkers, right? Everybody's got coworkers. I believe you can be civil with the coworker, but that doesn't mean you have to like them, right? And what that usually means and what the difference is basically if you guys are working, everything's cool, everything's, copacetic, everything's working, right? Until that time where they piss you off and then you start to tell them off. That's the difference. You can be civil with each other, but you don't have to like the person. And I do truly believe, my own opinion, that Kyler and Cliff don't like each other. If not, Kyler doesn't like Cliff. It's just my opinion. I've said this for quite some time now, that it's crazy when you see a man-to-man talk to each other. For the most part, they're staring at each other's eyes. When you see Cliff talking to Kyler Murray, this man's looking in nowhere's land. It's just the way that it is. I don't have any sources. I don't have anything that's actually saying that this is true. I'm only guessing it, right? Budda Baker, I've never heard anything that Budda Baker doesn't like him. Never heard anything like that. And I know there was little rumors floating around here and there saying that that's the reason why Larry Fitzgerald ended up leaving, right? I don't want to paint a picture here that that's exactly what's going on. But I mean, I do believe that there is something to be said that Kyler Murray, when he gets upset, he lets the emotions get the best of him, right? He lets the emotions get the best of him. And I think a perfect example is the way that last week's Hard Knocks came out. When it was after the Vikings game, he was pissed off that we lost, right? He was absolutely pissed off that we lost, as a lot of us would be. But one thing I've noticed is that he was walking to the locker room alone. There was a guy that came up and tapped him in the back and said everything was going to be okay, took his helmet off and just slammed it on the ground. And obviously that's how the Hard Knocks ended up happening. But nobody's walking with Kyler. Nobody's saying, hey, man, we'll get this right. Now, granted, we only saw a snippet. We only saw, 10 seconds or 20 seconds of what Hard Knocks wanted us to see. But you can spin that any which way. You can say, hey, man, he really wants to win. He's pissed off at, constantly losing. And that's cool as well. I mean, I'm right there with you, right? Because we can't paint the picture of like, oh, man, look how heroic Budda Baker is looking when he's yelling at people and saying, I'm sick of losing, but we can't take what Kyler Murray, right? So it goes the same. There's players within this locker room that's absolutely sick and tired of losing. And I don't blame them. They're sick and tired of losing. I'm sick and tired of losing. We haven't won the division since 2015. It's wild. Whatever's happening, I just want it to get fixed. Regardless, everybody kiss and make up. Let's go for the one goal, and that's the Super Bowl. Playoffs, Super Bowl, be a consistent team, and that's all I'm really kind of looking out for. Let me get to these contributions that just came in. We have Jason saying Kyler is immature and never thinks he's wrong. So to kind of talk about this a little bit, there is something in me deep down that does truly feel like Kyler Murray doesn't specifically think that he's in the wrong, right? I do. And the reason why I say it, now it's not all the time, right? It isn't all the time. So I'm not trying to make this a bash Kyler Murray stream because I love Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is my quarterback. I truly want him to start Monday Night Football. I do, whether you believe it or you don't. I want Kyler Murray to start, especially if he's healthy. But there was that weird play with Greg Dortch. Do y'all remember that play with Greg Dortch where it was like double passes forward? One thing that I would love my quarterback to do is take the fault to it, right? Take the fault. Because I remember when Kyler Murray said, oh, yeah, that's on Greg Dortch. Why did he pass it forward, right? I don't know either. Greg Dortch isn't a quarterback. I mean, we should have passed it backwards so Greg Dortch could pass it forward. Like, I feel like that's what it should have been. But no, I mean, the way Kyler Murray answered it, he was like, oh, yeah, that play. I remember that. Yeah, that's on Greg Dortch. He shouldn't have passed it forward. So it's like, that's the type of stuff that I want more accountability. I want him to say to the other teammates, like, if somebody missed the ball and dropped the ball in their hands, do what Colt did. Hey, man, no worries. We'll get it next time. We'll get it next time. That type of stuff is what I want to see kind of moving, in the future. Let's get to these contributions. They are stacking up on me, so I apologize for everybody. We got my guy saying, bruh, Cliff gave the entire O-line and game ball last week. Kyler has only rarely had that. Don't overestimate Colt's performance. So, yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. I do. So I guess the biggest thing that we have pertaining to this is that Colt McCoy didn't need 3, 4, 5 seconds. Colt McCoy just needed 2 seconds to get that ball out quick, right? Now, whether that was the game plan coming in, right? Everybody has to work in, unison to make an offense look great, right? Everything has to work in unison. Just the same thing as the defense, right? The cornerbacks will look as great as the pressure that's being allowed in that defensive line. Right? It's all works together. It's like a well-oiled machine. So I don't want to take anything away from Colt because I do think that Colt did a great job. I do think the offensive line did a better job, right? But the thing is that Colt McCoy was getting rid of the ball so fast that nobody needed to kind of wait for 3, 4, 5 seconds because by the time they got back there, the ball was gone, right? Taking the short passes, taking what the defense was giving them is what I have. Now, one thing that I would love Kyler Murray to do a little bit more is taking those little short shots, right? Taking those shots that give what the defense give, especially because the way the defense is playing a lot of offenses now is the bend but don't break. So they're playing back those 4 or 5 yards. If you give a ball to DeAndre Hopkins 4 or 5 yards, DeAndre Hopkins will probably get you another 2 or 3 yards. And what does that mean? Second and third. Second and second, right? But I've been seeing a lot of the same things over and over again when we're sitting in a third and first, third and second, and we're chucking the ball deep and not playing for that first down. So I don't want to take anything away from Colt. I do agree with what you're saying with the offensive line played a lot better than we have seen with Kyler, but Colt was getting rid of that ball quick. Bam, 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 just getting rid of it. So, they all work together to make everything look better. So let's move to the next super chat. We got my guy says, I couldn't see a world where we would bench healthy Kyler for Colt. I agree with that. 100% I agree with that. And here's the thing. If that does happen, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. Because do you know the narratives that we're going to be getting out there? The narratives that we're going to be getting. Oh my God, the Arizona Cardinals don't trust Kyler. He's healthy and they're putting in Colt. I don't see a world that happens either. And I don't want it to happen. But if Kyler isn't 100%, I would rather have Colt in there because Kyler is only as good as what his legs allow him to do, right? He's great out of the pocket. He can make things happen with his legs. He's got a really good arm. Although this year, hasn't been as accurate as we would love him to be. But, I mean, truth of the nature here is that I agree with you, is what I'm trying to say. I don't see the Arizona Cardinals benching Kyler if he's healthy. 100%. And I don't want to ever live in the world that happens because I don't want to see the narratives. I don't want to see all these other things that we're seeing there, right? Let's continue with the contributions here. We got my guy Jack coming up with a $20 donation. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so very much. He says, Kyler clearly has the potential to be an all-time great, but right now he's not mature enough to be a starting quarterback. Colt McCoy may not have the talent, but he's our best option at quarterback against the 49ers. Woo! That's a lot to unfold there. It's a lot to unfold there because I agree with what you're saying. I truly believe that Kyler Murray, if you're going to put Kyler Murray or Colt McCoy and give any team the option to pick that quarterback, everybody's going to pick Kyler Murray, right? Because of the upside, right? What we can do with his legs, how dynamic he can actually be. But there is something to be said about being mature. There is something to be said about taking accountability. There is something to be said about all those situations, right? I do agree. Kyler Murray is leaps and bounds better than Colt McCoy. Leaps and bounds better as an athlete. And I think that's just a quarterback in general. Now, he has regressed this year, right? Kyler has regressed this year, and we're all fully aware of that. But Colt McCoy did what I believe Cliff has been wanting Kyler to do this whole time. So that's where the disconnect is from a lot of fans, right? Because they're seeing people say, oh, start Colt. And they're automatically thinking in their minds, why are you saying Colt is better than Kyler? They're not saying he's better than Kyler. They're just saying that we believe that he's going to give him the better chance. 49ers are saying the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to 49ers fans. Now, to me specifically, I think we have a better option for Kyler to start this year. Start in the 49ers game because the 49ers don't do good with mobile quarterbacks. They do. And who's a mobile quarterback? Kyler Murray. Mobile. But if he's not 100%, his ability of being mobile is not there, then we might as well go ahead and go with Colt. Because what makes Kyler dynamic is what he can do with his legs, how fast he can run. Hope that makes sense. And I know there's a lot of people coming in the stream and being like, Mike, you suck. Mike, you don't want Kyler to succeed. That's far from the truth. I want Kyler to start. Absolutely do. But if he's not 100%, we're only hurting ourselves in the 49ers game. It's just kind of where I'm coming from. I truthfully think that Kyler Murray is the better quarterback. Dynamic, athlete, great, fantastic. But if you were to ask a very, very prominent, nobody talks anything about Kyler Murray fan, if they can't admit that he's regressed this year, then maybe the conversation isn't worth having because Kyler Murray has regressed this year. Absolutely has. Absolutely, he has regressed this year. I think Kyler Murray's better than Colt. Now, I know there's people in the fans. There's people in the chat saying Colt is greater than Kyler. I don't believe that, and I don't buy into that narrative. Because John Wolford, on the other hand, although yes, our offense looked really good against their defense, John Wolford was doing everything they can to kind of not make sure that their offense kept staying on the field. And it's the same thing that happened with our defense, right? Our defense is only as good as not being on the field as long as we are, because they're human. Yes, they're athletes. They're superb athletes, but they get tired, right? They start losing hope. They don't see our offense do anything, so why should they try? You know what I mean? Do you know where I'm coming there? So, and I truly believe that Rams team, they probably got tired. I mean, we did score 17 points on that team, right? On the first half. So there's something to be said about what Colt did to that specific team on defense. So definitely kudos to that for sure. Definitely kudos to that. Let's continue to see on the chat here to see what you guys are saying, because everybody's kind of spark up a level of interest, right? Either Team Kyler, either Team Colt. Now, I remember asking people in the chat, it wasn't yesterday because I was sick yesterday, but it was the day before. I ended up asking you guys, who do you want? Right? Here's a poll question. Kyler, Colt. If Kyler's healthy, most people said Colt on YouTube. On Instagram, it was different. On Instagram, Instagram had Kyler favored by about 3 or 4%, but it's still very, very close. And I never saw the world that we were going to be living in this situation, right? So if Kyler Murray does miss another week with his hamstring issue, I'm confident that Colt can do something, right? I'm confident that Colt McCoy can come up with the win here, because a lot of 49er fans, like obviously they're excited about winning against that Chargers team. But I mean, truth of the matter here is that, you know, they think that team is underachieved too, because that team has lost against a lot of teams that they should have beaten. So we'll see. We'll see exactly where that comes from. Kyler deserves another chance. That's all I'm saying. Kyler deserves another chance to make what this narrative is right. He needs to, because right now it's Colt. In the people's eyes, it's Colt. But truth of the matter is here that Kyler Murray is getting paid $230 million. $230 million to play quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. And if we give him another chance, we truly now believe that Kyler Murray, with what we see in the sample sizes this year, compared to another opportunity after what Colt did, people are going to get even louder and louder and louder. And I truly believe he needs to be the guy to change this narrative. Cliff can't do it for him. Keim can't do it for him. Nobody in the offense can do it for him. And honestly, it didn't help, right? It didn't help that Hard Knocks came out and that we had DeAndre Hopkins and him kind of getting into a little conversation, a little spicy conversation where DeAndre Hopkins was saying, bro, what are you seeing? And Kyler Murray telling him to calm the F down. Same thing like he told Cliff. Calm the F down. That's not how you talk to men. That's not how you talk to men, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't. You want respect, you give respect. That's just the way that it is. That's not the way you talk to men. Cliff Kingsbury, I can care less about. But with what DeAndre Hopkins has accomplished in this NFL, in his NFL career, you don't talk to men like that. And I know people are like, oh, well, that's how you talk about football, right? People are talking, people talk, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But DeAndre Hopkins is not going to come out and say that they were arguing. Why? What narrative is that going to change for everybody, right? DeAndre Hopkins is as professional as they come. He's going to come out there and say, oh yeah, we're talking. You know, that's how bros talk. That's how bros talk. But in the heat of the moment, if something's coming up, if you tell somebody to calm the F down, you will get the ball, and don't target him or don't give him the ball in the second half, people are going to talk. People are going to talk. So you don't tell another man that's trying to get you to win to calm the F down, you will get the ball, and don't give him the ball because you're force feeding Rondale Moore, Rondale Moore, giving him all the balls. You just don't. So in my mind, Kyler deserves another opportunity. Yes, I wish he approached things differently, but I do believe he deserves another opportunity here to make things right. And that's the best time, right? Prime time. This is going to end the three straight back-to-back division games. This is where it's going to end it here on Monday night. And this would be the perfect opportunity for Kyler Murray to shut down the naysayers. This would be it. But the only person that's going to be able to do it is Kyler. Nobody else. Not his fans, not the Kyler Murray fan club, not Keim, not Cliff Kingsbury, not Budda Baker, not James Conner. Kyler is. He's the only one that's going to be able to get this right. And what we need to do is get a win. Because if we get a win, we're going to be a 5-6 team, ladies and gentlemen. Still under 500. But we'll be a 5-6 team. One game away from being at 500. And if it doesn't work that way out, and if we lose, then we're going to be, talking about something completely different. And then it's a whole different scenario there. So that's my spiel on Kyler Murray. I know a lot of people aren't happy about it. I understand. I get it, right? I mean, people have opinions, right? That's the beauty of sports. People think this way, people think that way. That's just the way that I feel about it. Now, let's get over here to the 49ers week, right? We got a very, very, very great game coming up for the Arizona Cardinals. And the reason why I say a great game is because it's a division game. Anything happens, anything goes with the division game. Anything. Any given Sunday is what I like to say every single time. Any given Sunday is what we're dealing with as Arizona Cardinal fans. And as the 49er fans should really be thinking that as well. So right now we're 4-6 and they're a 5-4 team. They have one more win against us. They have one more win than the Arizona Cardinals do. Now, yes, we've already played 10 games. They have played 9 games. They had a bye week. Our bye week comes after next game. I think it's the Chargers, and then we have our bye week. So this would be telling. This would be telling for the Arizona Cardinals, right? To see if we can come up here and then play the Chargers. And then right after that, take a bye week, get a very much needed break, and see where we can kind of go from there. Because right after that Monday night, 6 more days away, then we got that Chargers game, which I do think that we can do decent against, right? It would be better with the win-win and get back to 500 than a loss-win or a win-loss. Just depending, right? Depending how it is. Let's go ahead and get to this contribution here real quick from my guy. He says, why Cliff's system only looked good when Colt is in? Well, I mean, so the way that I hear Cliff talk, it almost kind of seems like he tries to adapt to the team that he plays, right? Because they watch film, right? How can you defeat a team that's lost before? Is you watch the team that has beaten them before, right? What is their inefficiencies? What is their defects? What is the thing that their defense does that can make our offense look good? So it might have been one of those things where Cliff came in and said, we have every person on our offensive line, with the exception of Beachum, is our starting, right? Beachum is the only starting offensive line that we have. Everybody else, it's been swinging. Everybody else has been a second stringer, a third stringer, some guy we got off the street. So maybe the game plan coming into that week versus the Rams, he said, Colt, what you need to do is you can't spend any more than 3 to 4. So you can't spend 3 seconds or any more than 3 seconds in the pocket. You need to get rid of that ball. And you need to get rid of that ball fast. Maybe that's just the game plan. Because we know Aaron Donald. We know their defensive line is very good. And if they penetrate back there and you're dealing with a quarterback that's holding the ball too long, they're going to get back there and sack them. Pressure, causes frustration. That's probably was just the game plan coming in. So I want to see what Colt can look like against the 49ers if he does get the start. But if that's the way that we're playing it, their defense is also going to adjust, right? Like the way that the Rams try to adjust in the second half. And instead of playing the bend but don't break, they played more press. They played more man-to-man. But you don't put man-to-man on DeAndre Hopkins. You just don't. He's a beast. One of the best wide receivers. He does it. He's great. So what they try to do to fix it, it's just kind of, it's like a game of chess. You know what I mean? It's just like a game of chess. The offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, their main job is to get the weakness of that other team. So I don't think that Cliff intentionally came out and said, Colt, we're going to make you look like Tom Brady this week. I don't think that. I just think the game plan changed. He saw what we have offensively on the defensive line, and you're like, oh, no, we ain't going to block nobody, right? We ain't going to block a Colt. So I think that's the big difference. Game planning. It's a big difference. So for the 49ers now, right? Let's continue to talk about the 49ers here. The 49ers are a team that has a very good defensive line as well, right? I mean, they've been struggling, trying to stay healthy just in general, right? Their running back kind of seems to be like switching back and forth. They got McCaffrey. They got a guy named Hufanga over there that's been a very good cornerback for them. So their defense on paper is very, very good. It's been good for the past 2 or 3 years. Nick Bosa. Everybody in that D-line seems to be very, very good. So if we're coming into this game and Colt or Kyler is the quarterback, I think we should have the same game plan, right? If they're playing bend but don't break, short. Get that ball out of your hand quick. Like quick. You hike, backdrop, boom, send it. That's what you got to do. That's how you beat it. And the moment they start pushing, right? They start playing press, they start playing man-to-man, you get a speedy wide receiver like Rondale Moore that can outrun somebody. And then DeAndre Hopkins being DeAndre Hopkins. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, obviously, I don't get paid millions and millions of dollars to come up with a game plan, so I'm not going to really kind of talk too much into depth. I mean, I know Cliff Kingsbury knows leaps and bounds a lot more football than I do, so I'm going to allow him to do it. But I think that's hopefully to answer your question as to like why Colt looked better in the system than Kyler did. I don't think it was maliciously. I don't think it was in an intent to make Kyler look not good. It's just I think Colt executed it very well. And the offensive line was put together like a Band-Aid. But it worked, right? They can block 2 seconds. They can block it. They can block it. We got my guy Bass up here. He says, I missed the 7-0 feeling last year. Well, here's the thing. Honestly, that's a great call out, my dude. But here's truthfully, I hate the fact that we were 7-0, but then we lost against teams like the Lions. And we had this complete meltdown at the end of the season. I hate that. Give me a team that gets hot at the right time. That's what I would rather be than starting off 7-0. I know 7-0 felt good, right? We're sitting at the top of the world. We're sitting great. We were sitting fantastic at 7-0. But truthfully, even if we did start the way that we start, if we can become that Giants team I believe it was the Giants that played the Patriots. I forgot the year. It was a while ago. But when the Giants ended up beating Tom Brady and the helmet catch happened, that team was not primed to be a playoff team. They got hot at the right time. And the Cardinals can get right at the right time. They can get hot at the right time. I would rather be that team than starting off 7-0 and just dwindle down and just be an absolute disappointment. Because Cardinal fans thought, right? We thought we were going to be Super Bowl teams. 7-0, nobody can touch us. We look great. What ended up happening, defensive coordinators found out. So I would rather be now and get hot at the right moment. Because we know. I feel like we were frauds last year. Like, honestly. Like, that's how I felt at the end of the season. Because, yeah, we still squeaked into the playoffs, but we got destroyed. We looked like a team that didn't deserve to be there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, fingers crossed. 49ers week continuing to happen here. I do believe, obviously, Wednesdays and Thursdays is the time that Thursdays and Fridays is the injury report I like to focus a lot more on. Now, because we are facing a Monday Night Football game, I think that does shift the day as well. You're going to see some people have some injuries here and there, but I wouldn't focus too much on this week's injury report unless it completely says they're out. If they're limited, if they are questionable, if they're a game time decision, give it some time, right? We'll see what Friday comes around, and we'll see who's going to be available for the Arizona Cardinals. But as of right now, right, I still do think that our offensive line is going to be put together like a Band-Aid, right? I mean, they're doing their best to kind of do it. I don't think we've seen all these injuries come around, and I don't want that to be an excuse, right? I'm the last person to hear any excuses from anybody, and I don't want that to be an excuse for anybody. We are who we are, right? We are who our GM puts the team at. Like, it's what it is. So we'll see. We'll absolutely see. Looking at the Twitter world right now, we do see some people here. I don't see anything else other on here from like an official report saying that, he's going to miss a week. But I mean, I think we all kind of know that Kyler Murray can very well possibility miss another week because of the hamstring issue. We don't know, right? We don't know what type of team we're going to be in the second half. But all we know right now is who's next, right? That's the 49ers. The 49ers, and then we got the Chargers. If we can go 2-0 in these next two games and then our bye week, man, we got the Patriots that aren't doing so hot. We got the Broncos that suck. We got the Buccaneers that don't look the same. We got the Falcons, and then we got the 49ers. These next two games are absolutely telling. And I know at one point I said, sell the farm. It's over. It's done. But this is before we beat the Rams, because I never thought in a chance, a snowy chance in hell that we're going to beat the Rams with Colt McCoy. But we did. So it gave us a little bit more hope. So if we can take advantage of what we can take control of, and that's beating the 49ers and beating the Chargers, rest up on the bye week, and after that, we can possibly get with what we've been trying to see this whole year, Hollywood and D-Hop, and then put Rondell in the slot. Right? It's what we want to see. It's what we want to see. So right now, I know people are asking, or at least somebody asked me before, like, do you think Kyler's going to get traded? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Unless something completely dramatically shifts. And the only thing that I can see dramatically shift is that if Kyler Murray is healthy 100% and then we bench him for Colt, then that's going to spark up something different. As of right now, I don't see a world that will happen, though. I don't see a world that will happen, at least at this very moment. Colt McCoy is a very serviceable, a very good backup quarterback. But at that's kind of where I'll leave him at. Backup quarterback. And just allow Kyler to do his thing, right? Allow Kyler to do his thing is exactly what we're looking for. Let's continue on with the comments here. let's do this. So this isn't going to be like, we're going to officially obviously talk a little bit more about 49ers week here, because this whole week is 49ers week. Right now we're sitting on Sunday. We have Thursday, Friday, and the full weekend, and then we play Monday night. So we got some time before we can really figure out who's going to be available, who's not playing, who is playing, that type of thing. But what do you guys think is going to happen in this game, right? The 49ers aren't invincible. I truly think that the Arizona Cardinals can stand a fighter's chance against them. I truly do. I think we can definitely stand a fighter's chance against the 49ers. A, it's a division game. B, we swept them last year. And we'll see. The Chargers, on the other hand, what are they at right now? The Chargers right now are currently sitting at, let's take a look at the Chargers. 5-4. Same record as the 49ers. They're not invincible. I mean, we lost 2 games more, right? We lost 2 more games than them, but I mean, they've probably had their bye week already. We haven't. So we'll see. What's up, AC Sports Girl says, yeah, the controversy is going to spread more. Yeah, I mean, if Colt plays against the 49ers, and if Colt beats the 49ers, my goodness, there's going to be blood in the water, ladies and gentlemen. Blood in the water. And I don't think I'm ready for that at all. I don't think I'm ready for that at all. But we'll see. Arizona Cardinals are 11-3 against San Francisco 49ers in the last 7 years. Ooh, that's a good stat. Appreciate you, Taj. Arizona Cardinals are 11-3 against the 49ers. Okay. 12-4 versus the San Fran since 2014. Then we got a chance. That's all we want. All we want is a chance, ladies and gentlemen. All we want is a chance. That's some really good stats right there, my guy. JP, Taj, thank you guys so very much for those stats. That's definitely promising for the Arizona Cardinals going into Monday Night Football. I hope it's a really good game. I truly do want, I want Kyler Murray to start. I do. Truthfully, I do. But if he's not healthy, cool. It's got to be the guy. It's got to be it. We got my guy in the chat says, bring the blood. I'm telling you, imagine a world, y'all. Imagine a world that Colt McCoy comes in here in another division game, gets back-to-back wins against the 49ers team. Blood in the water, ladies and gentlemen. Blood in the water. Blood in the water. Is there any news on Kyler on Twitter? The only thing that we really have is this. And like I said, I mean, you take this with a grain of salt. This this Twitter page is literally named NFL Rumors. Like, it's literally named NFL Rumors. So it's all rumors at this moment, right? So obviously, with all the noise that we're kind of dealing with right now, with everybody's, or not everybody, but a lot of the fan base wants Colt. A lot of the fan base wants Kyler. We're all pretty much split at this very moment. There is an opportunity for Kyler to miss, right? Miss a couple games. What was the injury last year? Do you guys remember what the injury was last year for Kyler Murray? Let me take a look here. Let's take a look at injuries for Kyler Murray. I know there's a website I usually go to. Let me take a look at here real quick. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So Kyler Murray's injury last year. So he had an ankle sprain, grade 2. In 2020, he had a shoulder / joint sprain. And that's 2020. And then in 2019, hamstring. He pulled a hamstring, grade 1. So this year, obviously, hamstring issue. So here's the weird thing. So in 2019, Kyler Murray had a thigh hamstring sprain, right? He pulled it. He said grade 1. He suffered, but he returned to the next game. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Kyler can. I mean, right? Maybe Kyler can come back next week. I mean, he's got an extra day, because in 2019, when he was in his rookie year, he did get a sprain. He did leave in the third quarter, and he returned in the next game. So that only really kind of took 1 week for him to kind of heal up. So there's a chance. There's a chance. There is an absolute chance. There's a fighter's chance for Kyler Murray to come through. Fighter's chance. Let's do this. We have about 5 more minutes in this stream, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody, all the Twitter watchers, all the Facebook watchers. Appreciate you guys for coming through. All the YouTube watchers. Obviously, you guys are the heart and soul of this AZ Sports Fan channel here on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys for obviously constantly, showing support, smacking the like button. When I say smack the like button, thank you so very much. Helps the algorithm and helps any other Cardinal fan that is looking for a home, any spot for a therapy session. This is basically where, they can find it. So let's do this. Let's get to a spot where we're going to be answering questions in the chat. There's 106 people right now in the chat. So just FYI, if you want to make sure that your chat is completely 100% read, best way to do it is super chat. But as of right now, I'm going to pick random questions in the chat right now, and we're going to go from there, right? We're going to go to the hour mark. So we got about 3 or 4 minutes just to answer some questions, see how I feel about my Cardinals, see how you guys feel about your Cardinals. So let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. We got Anthony here. He says, I agree. Bring the blood. Go Colt. Oh, y'all try to start a quarterback controversy. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, let's keep this going here. We got my guy Tactical or TD Actical. Sorry, I most likely butchered that. I apologize. He says, basically, made of glass, hurt every year. And then Michael Bidwell paid him for 3 wins this year. Oh my God, the scandal. Bro, Kyler Murray's been hurt every year. 2019, pulled a hamstring. He left the game, but he came back the next game. And I believe because he needed to come back, right? Because he didn't. 2019, we were a dumpster fire of a team. So he didn't need to come back. It wasn't like playoffs, right? It was 2020 when he hurt his shoulder injury. He did leave that game, but he didn't miss any other games. He did leave that game, but he didn't miss any. 2021, right? He got a ankle sprain, and then 2022, apparently he was hurt a little earlier as well in August. He had a hand wrist bruise, but now we know it's a hamstring for this week. So we'll have to see. We have my guy Anthony saying playoffs or no. It's hard to say it now, right? It's hard to say because we're a 4-6 team. If we get hot at the right moment, anything's possible. Anything is possible, right? Especially the West. Right now, we have the Seahawks that are leading the division at 6-4. And then we got the San Francisco 49ers at 5-4. So, it's technically still up in the air right now. We're 2 games down, right? Is that what it is? 2 games down? Let's take a look here at the Arizona Cardinals. Let's take a look at the standings. Yeah, Seahawks are 6-4, 49ers are 5-4, Arizona Cardinals are 4-6. So technically we've lost 2 games more than the 1 and 2 spots. And we got 7 games left in the season? So, if we get hot at the right moment, I think anything's possible. Honestly. But I don't want to. I've always said this. I'm going to say this all the time when anybody asks about playoffs. So I'm going to do it again. Here we go.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Every time anybody asks about playoffs, and if you're new here, I'm sorry, not mean to bag on you or anything like that. But a few streams back, I did say that anybody who talks about playoffs, I'm going to be playing that clip. So there you go. They're true to my word. Let's go with here. Do you think it's possible we trade K1? Oof. Oh my God. Just stab me in the neck, my guy. Sheesh. It's funny to me. And I truly believe, I truly do thank everybody for obviously, subscribing to this channel. And, my opinion is, as good as your guys' opinion, right? We're fans of this team and we want them to succeed, right? That's the truth of the nature here. The only way I see this happen is if Colt continues to play at a high level, right? It's the only way I see it. Because Kyler Murray's stock is dipping the more and more he loses. So even if he does, then I think that would do. But I don't think it's gonna happen. Now, I still do think it's weird. I still do think it's weird. And I said I was going to find this clip for you guys, and I completely forgot to do so. But during the time that Kyler Murray ended up getting paid, that press conference that ended up coming out where it had Steve Keim and Michael Bidwell, he got paid. This is the presser. There was one question that the media asked, and they said, why does Kyler Murray not have a no trade clause? And then Kyler Murray came out and started like chuckling and started, right? You're doing what Kyler Murray does, right? Just feeling very awkward, right? Awkward conversation. And then the media looked to Steve Keim, and Steve Keim was like, oh, I don't disclose anything that happens behind closed doors, right? So because of that, I've always kept that in my mind, being that was just a really weird exchange, like, of thoughts, because you're right. When you do sign somebody to a long-term deal, a no trade clause is usually put in there because we're committing to you, you're committing to us. Right? Usually how it goes, right? Not just football, but NBA and the MLB, usually, right? Throughout the history. So if we're committing to you, you're committing to us, no trade clause. But in Kyler Murray's contract, per that media person that asked, there's no trade clause in his contract. So it's a really weird situation. It really is. Do I think it can happen? I think it can, right? I mean, but I'm going to put it as like a 5% chance. Like, I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are really ready to move on him unless Kyler Murray is completely disgruntled. Unless Kyler Murray truly feels like the Arizona Cardinals are putting him in a bad position. The Arizona Cardinals don't want him to succeed. The Arizona Cardinals, this, and that. That's when I can see it happen. But I think it has to be initiated from Kyler. But as of right now, I don't think I've heard anything about that. So, right, we're all kind of going through the motions, at least as of right now. So let's do this. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. If you guys haven't done so already, smack the like button. If you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe to the Arizona Sports Fan here on YouTube. We're on the road to infinity, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't do it without you guys. We are going to be closing up shop here as well. Tomorrow, we will be doing a podcast at 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time /AZ time. So if you did truly enjoy spending time here with the Bird Game, definitely we're going to be doing this the rest of the week. Monday through Thursday is usually the schedule we like to run through, but because I missed yesterday with my sickness, we're going to hopefully try to pivot it to Friday, but I'll let you guys know in the community tab. Of course, other things that you could expect on this channel is we're going to be dropping another video later on today talking about Hard Knocks episode and what I felt about it. Hopefully we'll be getting a little bit more about the Eno situation, because honestly, that's a storyline that I'm very excited to follow through, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much, everybody, for coming through. It's been an absolute pleasure. Shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat. If you guys can do me a big favor, put some fire emojis, some fist bumps, so whatever emoji you feel like in the chat below, everybody. Thank you so very much for coming through. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cards.